I wanted to create this video for anyone out there who, like me, is struggling through some sort of plateau when it comes to their art, or maybe you feel a little bit stuck with your current level. I wanted to share a little bit about the strategy that I am personally going to be using this year to bust through this plateau that I've personally been in for quite some time. This is a strategy that I have used in the past and it has always helped me, but I've honestly been so busy with pieces I've created for work and for classes, as well as with everything else that comes with building an art business, that I've set my personal art aside for some time. And this is why at the end of 2023, I finally decided to commit to my personal growth as an artist and honing my voice. And I wanted to commit to doing the exploration work and the play work that would help me find different techniques and methods that I enjoyed that I could later bring into larger pieces. I've been so busy throughout the last few years that I very rarely have time for exploration and play, and I know that this is incredibly important. And so I knew that it was time to bring back that tried and true strategy that I was talking about before. And essentially what this strategy is you commit to working on a self-initiated art project that includes a specific set of parameters or constraints that you're going to be working with. I'd recommend establishing some sort of time frame for this project as well. So it can be anywhere from a month to 3 months to a full year if you want to. I myself am going to be committing to a full year because I'm going to be working on this project alongside the pieces I do for work. But I'm going to make sure to work on at least one of these personal exploration pieces a week. I'm going to be explaining a little bit more about the specific parameters or constraints that I'm going to be bringing into these pieces a little bit later. But I'm going to make sure that throughout the entirety of 2024, these personal pieces and this project is a priority for me, just as much a priority as work pieces are. It is time for me to make this a priority, and I know that through developing my work more and improving more as an artist, this is ultimately going to help me help others better, become not only a better artist, but a better teacher, a better mentor for others, which is incredibly important to me. Okay, so what does establishing parameters or constraints mean for an artist who draws or paints? I created a very thorough video on setting parameters as artists some time ago, which I would highly recommend checking out after this one. I'll make sure to link to it down below in the text section of this post. And in that video, I explain what parameters are, why it is so important to set them as artists, and I also provide a bunch of different tips and ideas that you can use to set parameters or constraints in your practice. There are different ways that you can set limitations for yourself as an artist. For example, you can set limitations in terms of time, amount of pieces that you're going to be creating, in terms of type of subject that you're drawing or painting medium or mediums that you're bringing into your work. You can also narrow things down in terms of the format that you're going to be using, whether you're going to be working in a square format, a rectangular format, a circle, or you're going to be creating large scale pieces or miniature pieces. You can limit yourself in terms of the tools that you're going to be bringing in, whether these tools are your brushes or the amount of paint colors that you're going to be bringing in. And you can also create limitations for yourself in terms of the style that you're going to be creating in. In other words, the level of realism to abstraction that you're going to be rendering. And you can feel free to mix and match these depending on where you're currently at in your journey and what your goals are. This strategy can be especially helpful for those of us who are interested in a wide range of different artistic mediums and subjects. I myself am like this, and I can tell you that it's very easy to fall into feeling scattered or lost or distracted if I'm not constantly checking in with myself and making sure that I am staying focused on the mediums and subjects that I truly am drawn to most, the mediums and the subjects that I find myself in and that I want to grow in most. If you're a multi-passionate creative like I am, it is so easy to make very shallow progress in a vast array of different areas instead of making deeper progress in a few. And it's also very important to always remember that in any area of our lives, we need to be honest about what is important to us and commit to that for a sufficient period of time so that we can truly see the growth that we're after. We can't be jumping from thing to thing and expect ourselves to grow in that area in a deeper and meaningful way. So establishing a set of constraints or quote unquote rules to work within provides direction and focus for those of us who are interested in many things. It eliminates decision fatigue. It helps you waste less time because you know what you need to work on. But another important reason why, in my opinion, this practice is so important for any kind of artist is because it pushes you in ways that leaving everything super open doesn't. It has been shown that through establishing specific limitations for yourself, you actually become more creative. You connect those dots in different ways that you wouldn't have before if you hadn't been given a set of constraints or parameters to work within. This stretches your creativity, your critical thinking skills, and you're able to come up with new ideas. It may seem like giving yourself rules or working within a box with a specific amount of elements is the opposite of what you're trying to do as a free-flowing creative. But for a lot of us, oftentimes establishing those rules in the beginning and giving ourselves the opportunity to really delve deep within that box and looking for different ways to play with those elements that we have chosen and looking for different creative solutions with a specific amount of tools, that stretches us way more and makes us grow way faster. Especially in today's world where everything is an option and everything is readily available for you. It can feel hard to commit and to narrow things down, but oftentimes this is the way to go if you want to grow. For this strategy to work, you need to know what you want. I want to encourage you to do some self-reflection, come to a conclusion as to which mediums, subjects, and techniques you want to grow your skills with most. Tune out all of that noise and listen to yourself. And be very honest about your current skill level. Meet yourself where you're at. This way, the project that you create for yourself is optimal for your current level. And if you need any extra learning resources, you can make sure that they're going to work for you. I'm going to make sure to leave a link to another video in which I explain about the Goldilocks zone. It's very, very important that you pick projects that are good for your current level and that you build your skills incrementally. This is going to help you enjoy the learning process more, and it's going to help you get into a state of flow more consistently. With all that said, I'm now going to be moving on to sharing about how I'm personally implementing this strategy. Everything stems from my personal goal that I was sharing about before. How I'm really looking to make more time for exploration and for play work and for working more intuitively. And this is so that I can discover new ways of using my tools, specific color palettes that I'm drawn to, and new techniques and styles that I can take to larger pieces in the future. I also really want to find a process that I thoroughly enjoy and that I feel has myself in it from start to finish. Once my goal was set in place, it was time to establish my parameters or my constraints. I knew that I would be working on larger pieces for work and for classes that I am always teaching. And so I thought it would be a great idea to fill up a sketchbook with smaller, quicker pieces that I can work on alongside those other pieces that I do for work. So in other words, it's going to be a very long series of smaller pieces that I'm going to be creating for this project. What I did was I got on Amazon, which is often where I buy my art supplies, and I looked for a sketchbook that would be dedicated to this project. And I found this one, which was accessibly priced. It has 44 pages in it, which are relatively thick. This is watercolor paper, and I really love squared format sketchbooks, so I went with this one. It's a little bit under 6 by 6 inches. So the sketchbook in and of itself is a way to establish parameters in terms of format and in terms of amount of pieces that I'm going to be creating. But I also established parameters in terms of the mediums that I would be bringing in. I knew since the beginning that I would be bringing in both drawing and painting mediums, and this is why I decided to buy a sketchbook that is intended for water-soluble mediums. What I'm going to be bringing in specifically are graphite pencils for my preliminary pencil sketches, which you saw me do in the beginning of this video, and the other drawing mediums that I'm going to be bringing in are colored pencil and ink pens. And when it comes to my painting medium, I'm going to be bringing in watercolor. All of these are going to be mixed media pieces. Sometimes I'm going to be doing line and wash with my ink pens and watercolor washes, and other times I'm going to be combining colored pencil and watercolor like I am in this particular case. I'm going to choose what combo of mediums I'm going to be using on a case-by-case scenario depending on how I'm feeling in that particular day, and also the specific type of subject that I am drawing and painting. I'm also establishing constraints for myself in terms of colors. I'm a huge fan of limiting the amount of colors that I am bringing into my work because I know that color plays a huge role behind making visual compositions look harmonious and cohesive. Not to mention, arriving at a specific color palette and even a specific color scheme that I can use in all of my work in the future is something that I'm really interested in. And I do feel that I am a little bit afraid of color, so I want to push myself with these pieces and allow myself to be a little bit more expressive when it comes to colors. But I am aware of what colors I do like and what I don't like, and I'm going to make sure to only bring in colors that I really, really like. Another thing that you can see when it comes to color use in this video is how I am creating two pieces simultaneously in one same spread. And in both pieces, I am using the same combination of colors. These are two different types of subjects. One of them is more of a still life piece, and the other one is more of an urban sketch or scene. And I am challenging myself to use the same color scheme in both pieces. And the final constraint that I am bringing in for this project is the type of subject that I am drawing and painting. So as I just mentioned, I'm going to be drawing and painting still life and scenes, whether they are outdoor scenes or indoor scenes. And in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to be combining both objects and scenes in one same spread. So as you can see, I have brought in a variety of constraints. I've mixed and matched the ideas that I had provided before in a way that makes sense for my goals and my skill level. But within that, I also left some space for myself to decide specifically what I want to work on any given week, what combination of mediums I want to work with, and what limited color schemes or palettes I feel like working with. In that other video, which I created on setting constraints, I explained how there is a sweet spot where you don't feel too limited, that there is no space for creativity at all, and things are not left super open, because in many cases we are not going to know where to start, and we're not going to be inspired and challenged to create. To hold myself accountable, I am going to be sharing all of the spreads that I create in this sketchbook, either via video or via photo over on my Instagram. So if you're interested in seeing how all of this evolves and you're interested in learning my findings, make sure to follow me over there and stay tuned for more videos to come. I'm sure that this project is going to bring a lot of self-discovery and a lot of growth for me, and I'm excited to share all of this with you. I also hope that I've inspired you to focus on what's important to you as an artist. so that you can achieve that growth that you want a lot faster. And I've provided some practical ideas that you can start incorporating into your practice. I'll be linking to other helpful resources down below. Make sure to check those out. Thank you so very much for joining me on this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll make sure to get back to you. If you give a self-initiated project like I am a go for yourself, make sure to let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and see you very, very soon.